Hi, I'm John Villalobos, Senior Applications Engineer here at RKI Instruments, and welcome to our channel. Today, we're going to look at getting into the settings menus for the GX6000. And first of all, we're going to get into the user mode, which is the first one. To get into the user mode, we want to start with the unit off, push and hold down the up and down arrow buttons together, then press the power button, release when we hear a beep. And that brings up a password in the black bar at the top. If password was activated, I would have to enter that to get into the user mode. But actually, as a default, password is off, so I don't need to enter a password to get into the user mode. Right now, the cursor is just to the left of user mode, and that's where we want it. So I'm just going to press the power enter button to get into the user mode. And the first thing that comes up is the date. So if I press power enter again, that gets us into the date, where right now year is flashing, and I can just change the value by using the up and down arrow keys, change that year, and then press enter to select that. Then month is flashing, I could change the value there if I wanted to. Then day, then hours, and then minutes, and end for that function. That will take us back to the user mode menu. Next, I can use the down arrow button to get down to date format. Press enter to get into that. And right now the unit is set up for month, day, and year. So if I use the up arrow key, I can make that year, month, and day, or day, month, and year. And I'll get back to the original month, day, and year. So whatever format you want, just merely press the enter button to lock that in and select that. Now we're ending that function. Back to the menu again. And now I can scroll down to configure channels, and let's get into that one. Right now we have methane for channel 1, oxygen channel 2, H2S channel 3, CO channel 4, VOCs, which is our PID for channel 5, and our HCN sensor for channel 6. Let's say I wanted to look at H2S the most often of any gas, and I want to put that at channel position number 1. So I want to swap let's say methane CH4 with hydrogen sulfide H2S. So with the cursor at the top near methane, I'll press the power enter button, and that basically starts that flashing. Then I'm going to use my down arrow key to go to H2S, then press power enter, and that ends that. And if we look again now, channel 1 is H2S, and channel 3 is CH4. So we've swapped those channel positions. And that's all that this function does. It lets you configure the channels 1 through 6 in whatever order that you would prefer to see them in. Okay, so now I'm going to just leave it the way it is for the moment, and just go all the way down to escape and press enter. Next, we can take a look at languages. Scroll down to languages, press enter, and we have English, Japanese, Italian, Spanish, German, French, Portuguese, Russian, and let me scroll down to that, Korean, and that would be it. So quite a number of languages are available in the GX6000. Of course, I'm going to select English. Okay, and next is a ROM sum number, read-only memory. Basically, this is program information that is useful to RKI, and sum number 1F14. This is useful programming information for us. And then the last function is the password, which is either off, which is the default, or on. So if I turn it on and then select that by pressing the power enter, then from now on, when I get into the user mode again, I will have to enter a password, and I can choose that password. And the same thing will apply to the calibration menu as well. Whenever you go into the calibration menu and want to perform a calibration, you will also have to enter that same password. But for the moment, I'm just going to leave it in the default off setting. And then finally, Scroll down to start measurement, press enter, and the instrument goes into its normal warm-up sequence and will finish at the normal operation screen. Next is lunch break. Lunch break enables the unit to calculate the time that it is off together with the time that it's on. So if you take a break or go to lunch, it's going to calculate the time that you're out of the environment together with the time that you're in the environment to properly establish your 8-hour time-weighted average. Okay. Going downward, we come to auto zero. When auto zero is activated, the unit will basically automatically zero its sensors and adjust the oxygen sensor to 20.9% in whatever atmosphere that it happens to be in. So if this function is activated, you want to make sure that you are in a gas-free atmosphere. The factory default is actually demand zero, which is next. Demand zero requires you to manually do a zero adjustment, and that would be accomplished by just pressing the air button and holding it down when the instrument, until the instrument tells you to let go or release, and that will perform a demand zero function. The zero follower basically adjusts the 0 point on a periodic basis. Zero suppression basically allows the unit to still keep reading zero even in the event of slight changes in sensor drift due to possible changes in temperature and humidity in the atmosphere. So very minor sensor drift can be canceled out just to read zero on the display, and that's what this function allows. The IR auto range, basically you have two settings. You have auto range capability where the unit will read both LEL and percent by volume, or you can make it low range only, which would be the LEL range only. Confirmation beep basically confirms that the unit is operating properly and gives a periodic beep. The ketone can be turned off if you wished, but otherwise the default is on. Inert mode basically allows the unit to sample from inert atmospheres. In this mode, the unit is reading oxygen content from 0 going upscale. A normal safety oxygen format would be reading oxygen at 20.9% by volume and then reading downscale as oxygen is depleted. This is just the opposite. This is allowing the unit to basically monitor inner atmospheres where you don't want oxygen present, and you want to be alerted if there is any oxygen entering into the environment. Next is LB mode, which is leak check and bar hole mode. Those are very specialized operations. The bar hole time can be set and is adjustable for the bar hole mode. The CO display basically allows the carbon monoxide sensor to be displayed in leak check mode. The man down alarm, or man down setting I should say, has actually several settings within it. The man down alarm can be turned on or off. The panic alarm can also be turned on or off. Then you have a warning 1 time and a warning 2 time, which basically are adjustable, and each higher warning has a more escalated cadence of audible and visual alarms, and then finally the alarm time itself can be adjusted as well. And finally, escape gets you out of the submenu and back to the main menu. You can also adjust the log setting, data logging settings for this unit. You can make a flow adjustment to the unit if necessary. There's also read-only memory and some information, so program information is available here. You can turn on the password function and establish a password. And finally, we can restore the default settings to the configuration from which it was shipped from the factory. And then the very last item would be start measurement, which goes back to the normal operation mode.